We have coming on the program. We got scheduled earlier, and I'm going to make sure that he's available.
Your call has been forwarded.
We're getting a message there from Greg Ford. He was actually on a program earlier today, I think on John B. Wells' show, and actually talked to him, confirmed he was actually moved from 8:30 in the morning to 10:30. He should be available now. So we will keep on trying to get him. He's not at the coast anymore, but I gave 2 numbers so we can track him down. I want to go over some of the latest news so you can get an idea of the news that'll be my broadcast. Number 1, Trump is surrounded. The president thrives on having an opponent to villainize with impeachment. There are too many to choose from. Ha ha ha. Trump's a bit of a comedian. He almost likes a battlefield. He's like a triple alpha. The U.S. is about to test a new ballistic missile, and this is after we got rid of the INF treaty with Russia. This missile will be going up to there. It's the new Minuteman 3 ICBM test launch takes place October 2nd, Vandenberg Air Force Base, but there's a new one they're actually doing, a no-ground-launched ballistic missile coming in weeks. That one's actually going to be launched up. So you need to know that's happening. We also have, by the way, space-based weapons. A lot of the Space Force that Tom talks about actually are in space right now. We have a space-based weapons launching platform for nuclear weapons. They can carry hundreds of nuclear weapons that literally don't have to have a launch or giant rocket. We can drop them at space. They can drop at hypersonic speeds and hit a target anywhere on Earth down to cubic meters. So we have that. We have a thing called Rods from God, or our Project Thor. We have a scalar weapons in space that can trigger off earthquakes, volcanoes, and a tropospheric inversion to drop the ground temperature to 200 degrees. We can trigger off superquakes and actually trigger off megaquakes. California has got earthquakes, by the way, in the biggest earthquake in decades, ruptured at least 24 fault zones. We're getting ready for a pole shift. And California, will, by the way, in the future will be a series of peninsulas and islands. It'll be beautiful, but it'll be painful. And if you're in areas where the fault zones are close, like the vertical upthrust zone in downtown LA, get the hell out. You have to be at least 25 miles on the west coast, and the east coast at least 100 miles away from a fault zone. You get transmission of the power that can damage you or your home. I happen to be at least 95 miles away here in Vista, California. We are at the north side of what's called Baja California, which is actually a separate plate from the North American plate. So 100,000 years from now, if it continues to drift as it's supposed to and split off from California, it'll, believe it or not, be off the coast of Washington State. Now, of course, the whole North America is likely to move south from the visions I've had and the research I have about a pole shift, that at sometime in the next number of decades, and I don't know, and haven't asked God to tell me, and He's not prompting me to know when it's going to happen, but I can tell you that the pole shift is going to end the New World Order. We have the NORC, U.S. Air Force facts. Americans struggle to ID true facts, and this is obvious for the news media. They're confusing people, especially young people who are going to communist, socialist colleges and universities. They're basically clueless. These are people who have a negative IQ. These children don't understand anything. They don't understand when you submit to a totalitarian police state, whether it's left or right, you lose your autonomy, you lose your ability to protect yourself, and you lose the ability to even create new jobs. Chilean protesters took down a drone with standard laser pointers. Believe it or not, that can be done. We have Hong Kong descends into chaos. China mulls its options. Now, I heard a couple of different alternative viewpoints. Firstly, it first started off when Hong Kong was going to try to force extradition of people in Hong Kong to Chinese courts, which is against their rules that they were supposed to happen until 2050. What has happened since this, Soros and some globalist groups are trying to actually cause trouble, but it's partly the Chinese too. The vector the Chinese want, they want to take back Taiwan. Taiwan manufactures 85% of the microchips in the world. They have our Air Force with nuclear weapons in Taiwan. If China tries to take away Taiwan, they're going to cease to exist as a nation. China will be nuked to death because they're in a real close proximity to Taiwan. The Taiwanese, although they are of Chinese heritage, they are not Chinese communists. They're not going to put up with it. Neither is the Hong Kong. They're getting really upset. Superbugs on the rise. The new CDC report finds that it has increased from previous reports. You're not going to get a vaccine against these superbugs you want or any pathogenics. Our plasma iodine, Allison Med, NutriImmune 26Y, NutriSilver, NutriDefense, High-Dose Power C. These are what you need. You need N95 masks. You need to have these kind of antipathogenics, okay? So don't think that they're going to protect you or the government's going to protect you with a special vaccine or intercepting at points of entry. They are incompetent. A study, falling asleep, staying asleep, growing more difficult for Americans each year. Insomnia, of course, is tied directly to electropollution and smart grid, toxic excitotoxins in our air, food, and water, especially in our food now, that stimulate the brain and have effects on sleep, wakefulness cycle, and the reticular activating system. So that's a big problem. Let's see, we'll just dump that story because it's not showing up here. Prozac pollution making fish less aggressive. It's actually feminizing even alligators. I remember talking to someone years ago about the alligators, and like 25, 30 years ago, you could tame a male alligator from 30 yards with binoculars, and now you have to go up and flip the devil over in order to find out if they're male or female, because of feminization caused by things like Prozac and xenotoxins that are feminizing. Another interesting story. Women with disabilities often ignored, shunned, or mocked when seeking help from medical practitioners, meaning they're not getting pap smears or thermography or breast exams and other things. And they also, believe it or not, disabled women are many times also have a sex drive and actually have sex. And we have 1 billion people, or 15% of the world's population, experience some form of disability, with prevalence higher in developing countries, according to the World Bank. So this is something where we're abusing these people that have disabilities. Now there's an interesting thing called the rise of antinatalists. There's people that don't like being born. And what's really interesting is a story about this guy in India, and I want to read this because it's kind of bizarre. In February, a 27-year-old Indian man named Raphael Samuel announced plans for an unusual lawsuit. He is going to sue his parents for begetting him. It was not our decision to be born, he told the BBC. Human existence is totally pointless. Now, the thing is, he's only going to sue them for 1 rupee, which is like one little tiny coin, like a penny. But he's doing it to instill that fear among parents in general, because now parents don't think before having children. This is an example of young people that want to control the whole process of thought. And if you disagree with them, you're considered to be an apostate. So this is a person like we have in the universities that don't want free speech. If you disagree with them, you're just an apostate. They don't want dialogue. They think they already know everything. And you are apostate if you don't agree with these idiots, okay? The antinatalists. This is an example of it, and it's not just America, it's all around the world, okay? I look at this poll system they have up at MSNBC, it's insane. If you actually, firstly, conservatives and independents do not respond to these polls, so don't even think about it. Most senses magnetic fields via quantum processes, which is kind of interesting. We actually have an interesting dialogue, and I'm going to put some articles about the Methuselah mice. Now, we talked about this with Dr. Truott, that the Methuselah mice were put in a high Gauss field, and we actually have that now with the Magi, with the photon sound beam that generates ozone, with the frequency therapy such as Sonic Life, the use of the cell QRS mat, the cell Vital mat from Dr. Fisher. You can use combinations too. In fact, I just mentioned earlier, if you have, I had a gentleman who has a photon sound beam violet ray machine. He's going to get a Magi. You might have a QRS mat like I do, and I use a photon sound beam for regeneration. I hurt my right leg and knee a couple of weeks ago, and I'm regenerating. It's doing fantastic with my Red Deer Velvet and other supplements. So I'm basically almost back to normal after a few weeks. At my age, 67 and a half, that's pretty cool, pretty remarkable. So that's available. There's some interesting things. You can go to the Methuselah Fund and the Methuselah Foundation that were set up. Some of these people are just info ops. They really don't have the brilliance to understand what life is and aging. And if you actually ask them, a lot of them don't have any kind of scientific background. They're basically, if you want to call it, politicians trying to control and push transhumanism rather than life extension. Economics, demography, and social media only partly explain the protests roiling so many countries, okay? So there's a lot of protests going on all over the world, and people don't kind of get that. They don't understand what's going on. A lot of people are really agitated because of dirty and toxic electricity, dirty, toxic food, manipulation of the politicians that realize that the populations down there are being manipulated by socialists and communists on one side, or people talk about we have our current system is capitalism. We don't have capitalism. We haven't had capitalism for several hundred years. True capitalism is I invent something in my garage or my bedroom. I've got a good idea. I can borrow money and invest and produce it at a very low rate. I can expand to small and medium business and hire my neighbors or other people around the country. And I can then become a medium to large business, or I can even sell my patents or technology to others. That's capitalism. What we have is corporatism, where corrupt politicians and big corporations literally try to control everything. And because they're transnational, they actually can sell off a nation like America, and over the last 3 decades ship all of our business and corporations, so they close over 60,000 factories, and ship our jobs to nations like Russia and China because these politicians in the District of Criminal get corrupt and get very rich. It also means we have global tyranny. We don't have capitalism at all. It's all a pile of garbage, okay? So that's what people need to know. Do we have our special guest? Is he available? No response. See, that's really unusual. I wonder. I hope nothing bad happened to him. I will try to see if I can contact him myself again.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Is that ever strange? I will send him a text message. Showtime now. Yeah, he's unusual. That's unusual to get him. Not available. That's really, really, really strange. Okay. If need be, after the next segment, I'll actually give you an alternative guest if you can't get him. In fact, I'll tell you who I want to get. I'll get John W. Spring. In fact, I'll send you over the number for John W. because we're dealing with a number of stories and we're getting close to getting in touch with the president. Okay? And John W. Spring, hopefully he'll be available usually at this time of the day. He's also taking care of his disabled wife. But the guy's brilliant. He's got an IQ of 220. He's done the initial research with the first whistleblower for the Cuban Missile Crisis. And so I'll put him up right now, just try to call John W. We'll keep on trying to see if we can get Greg Ford. Somehow he didn't show, which is really unusual. We expect him to show. He did do a show this morning with John B. Wells, who I know really well. He has a video-audio channel, so he probably did a video interview. We can do that also with Greg. We just put him on camera. So I have the very advanced live stream, so I can do 5 different sites all at one time, anywhere in the world in high definition, and I have that available. So that's pretty cool. So you need to know that. Let's see. We have a couple of other issues I want to talk about. Let's go into our NutriMeds. Firstly, if you look at our NutriMeds, number one, we're putting up videos on all of the new products. We're also putting up new PDFs. You'll see those PDFs popping up on all the products. So you'll see a lot more information. And each one just goes 2.5 to 5 minutes long, explains how to integrate with other nutraceuticals and technology. Everyone needs to know that I have set up a training program for doctors and health professionals, right up to grandmas, where I don't care what your qualifications are. You could be anywhere in the world, and if you have a translator, I will train you, but I charge you $150 per half hour to do a video link and go over records and train you like an apprentice. You can get access to my wellness protocols for only $10 a month or $95 a year. That's for anybody, doctors included. If you want to get a free starter protocol, there's no charge. 96% of my consults are free. And you can email me, NutriMedical, N-U-T-R-I-Medical, at drbilldeagle.com. So that way Michelle will get a copy first and send it to me. Tell me in a couple paragraphs what your health problem is, maybe a summary of some of the lab reports and x-ray. We don't get too deep because it's a free starter protocol. I'll tell you what things you can do in terms of testing, what nutraceuticals you can do, and then advise you if you don't get better in the next few weeks that you may or may not need to go to more advanced testing. All right? So that's where we are at. That'll help you there. Secondly, if you want epigenetic frequency therapy, that means like a Sonic Life, a photon sound beam, a ProLam Plus or ProGen 3, a QRS mat or a Celvito mat, you must, this is a must, do a medical consult with me, because it's pointless to take epigenetic frequency therapy and not have the right nutraceuticals based on testing and a review of your medical history and so on. So I don't allow people to do that unless they actually do a consult. Now, if you have put in a purchase for a machine, you must have a consult sort of immediately afterward, because otherwise it's pointless to raise your cell energy level if you don't have the right building blocks to regenerate your tissue or turn off inflammation or regenerate your bones or whatever, your heart vessels and so on. So that's what we do there. I want people to kind of understand that that's the rules of the road now. You'll have to see that I have a new Vimeo channel. It's $30 a month. You get to see all kinds of videos I'm posting up. I have some amazing ones. One of the ones in my latest newsletter, which by the way is free, that I'm going to eventually kind of pull off there, and it'll only be on my Vimeo channel, is a 36-minute video, roughly, video that details all the major problems that Donald Trump is facing now and solutions, including the Ukraine-gate issues, the Russia-gate, the dealing with Russia and China, the Belt and Road program, the defensive Earth strategy, coronal mass ejections of the sun, EMP, etc., I provide an analysis of all the major problems facing the human race now and solutions. If you have questions, do call in 818-818-6401.
Do you supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great-tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great-tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Legacy Emergency Foods is the top recommendation from Dr. Bill Deagle for the lowest oxygen concentration, the largest entrees, the highest amount of protein, the most varied entrees as well, and the longest food storage life. Nothing like Legacy Emergency Foods, and if you place a regular monthly order, you get 20% off and free shipping. Do get Emergency Foods for your supply for preparation, and get it from Legacy Foods. Contact Dr. Bill Deagle for the link at NutriMedical.com. Go to the Shop by Products link and drop-down message at NutriMedical.com, and then place your orders for regular emergency food for yourself and your family. Nothing like emergency food if the power goes out and you can't go to grocery stores, or if there's an emergency or a national crisis. So NutriMedical.com, top recommendation, Legacy Foods. NutriMedical.com, go to the Shop by Products and drop-down menu, and stay well with NutriMedical every day of your life. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with you providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapies throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque, and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
We had from John W. Spring was from yesterday, day before yesterday, the 12th. It says, meeting with Turkey President Erdogan. And it's a very short letter, actually, and I'll read part of it, and then I'm going to get your response. During your meeting with Turkey's President Erdogan, you should have an opportunity to have him make some significant positive provisions for the Kurds who've been attacked in northern Iraq and Syria for over a year by the Turks. Kurdish trucks are by no means a match for U.S. F-16 fighter jets and military tanks being deployed by Turkey for NATO, because Turkey's been a NATO member, I think, since 1951. Going back to the letter, in reality, not only has the United States betrayed the Kurds, but the U.S. has provided the Turks with the means for a massive genocide, not only within the so-called buffer zone, in quotes, but also well beyond it, because Ankara, that's in Turkey, has now established agreements and treaties with Iran, Russia, and Syria, as well as Iraq, due to Baghdad's secret connection with Ankara, Damascus, and Moscow, and Tehran, that probably Washington is not aware of at this time. While I'm aware that U.S. troops are now being deployed as a guard for the oil fields, which, by the way, that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you can explain it. Deployed for oil fields in northeastern Syria, the United States has made hardly any significant provisions to protect the Kurds from a massive genocide. Please consider their future. By the way, when the U.S. did this to the Kurds, they also put the Israelis in massive danger. And now the Iranians have stated this week that they're going to enrich uranium to weapons grade. And the Israelis attacked not only Gaza and killed 22 people because they had rockets attacked, and they were highly accurate rockets, but the Israelis have announced they're going to bomb the crap out of the Bushehr reactor, which is a larger radiation cloud, built since the 1970s from Russia in western Iran, near Esfahan, the former capital of Media, but also very likely to precipitate thermonuclear war in the Middle East and a Russian attack from La Orchila Island and Nicaragua at Punta Huerte, which will be hypersonic cruise missiles traveling at Mach 7 to Mach 9, 5,000 to 7,000 plus miles an hour, which can change course mid-flight and evade all our missile defense systems, such as the theater air defense, etc. So Trump is demonstrating he's completely incompetent in dealing with this issue. He's demonstrating that an abandonment to the Iraqis, the Kurds, has actually put us not only in danger of losing control because our air base was taken over by the Russians, and this treaty, which literally arose within days after we kind of withdrew only our 28 people, because they had plenty of advance notice. I heard that this move by Turkey was going to happen like at least 6 months ago. But also it's increased the risk that Israel will be attacked, and Israel's going to counterattack, and it's going to release all hell breaks loose on Russia, Iran, Hezbollah, Syria, God knows where the hell it's going to happen. My guess is the city of Damascus will be nuked into an annihilation dead zone in this bowl we call Damascus, the oldest continuous lived city on the earth. So where do you see things going? I don't see this as good. I mean, whatever Donald Trump has done and his advisors, I think is catastrophically stupid. What do you think?
Well, since I wrote that report and listened to the news yesterday regarding the meeting with Turkish President Erdogan at the White House, I was appalled to hear some of the statements made by President Trump. President Trump apparently is not aware that Erdogan was the first person to be elected as mayor of Istanbul as an Islamist. An Islamist is someone who's very radicalized as a Muslim. And,
right, well, not only that, he's best friends with Adnan Oktar, and Adnan Oktar wears Armani suits, but he also is the top media person in Turkey with a multi-hour show every week indicating he's actually talking prophetically that he's the Ahmad Mahdi, which means the fallen Mahdi of all Muslims, both Sunni and Shiite, to bring about the final Islamification of the world in conjunction with the globalists. This is really frigging nuts, and it's extremely dangerous, said Mr. Erdogan. Over a year ago, tried to actually get Trump to agree to give him nukes. He did it again just in the last 2 weeks, asked to see if he could get the launch codes for the insolent air-based nuclear devices. This maniac built the largest palace in human history in Ankara. People don't understand who the hell Erdogan is. And his confreres and associates, we actually have licensed them to build armored personnel carriers, rocket grenades, etc., and other technology, and they have the fourth largest army on the planet. People don't understand that, do they?
No, they don't. And so Trump afterwards was saying that President Erdogan of Turkey treats the Kurds in his nation very well. He mentioned that there were 40 members.
They've been killing them for 7 decades.
Yes. Yeah. And I just could not believe that President Trump would be saying such things. I'm
Right.
wondering if he is relying at all on the intelligence agencies.
Well,
and if the intelligence agencies are providing him with such incorrect information...
you're absolutely right. The first thing, he's got bad intel from his surrounding Republicrats. I call the GOP rhinos or globalists. Number 2, he relies on the Diet Coke in his right hand that's turning his brain into methylated formaldehyded brain tissue. So he's the fattest president since William Howard Taft. And the third thing is, he runs the presidency like he's a game show host. And if you listen to the fourth contestant that seems to have a reasonable argument, or if you give him apologies or say he's a great guy like Kim from North Korea or Xi when he's getting cake in Mar-a-Lago, he thinks you're fantastic because they like him. For example, the latest statement by one of the hosts over at Fox News said he's the greatest president ever. Trump couldn't get beside himself putting video and audio about how great this guy is because he worships Trump. This is not good. If you have somebody that's a narcissist, remember the top narcissist in the universe, you know who he is? Satan. The most intelligent created being is Satan. Your ego and your need to be massaged is actually the source of bad decisions that ultimately are the source of all evil, even if it's good intentioned. People don't know that, do they?
No. I just saw a clip not so long ago that even indicated that the peaceful demonstrators who were of Kurdish ancestry, who were demonstrating in front of the White House, were brutally treated by police in Washington. I don't know if you know.
I know that, and Trump should have something to do about that because he should listen to them. If they're protesting, it's because they know. Because here's what's happened after World War I, when they killed not only the people. What was the other little nation? The
Armenians.
Turks. The Armenians. They killed over 1 million Armenians. But they've been killing since World War I, the Turks, and they were supposed to actually set up a nation called Kurdistan.
That's right.
Now, Kurdistan would have occupied more than 90% of the population of eastern Turkey is Kurdish. Most of the population north of Syria, including this area that's the oil-rich area that used to be run by the wells by the Kurds. So, by the way, we brought in ISIS and Al-Qaeda. We brought in ISIS and handed over the oil wells so they would have money to do terrorism. And I have intel reports and selfie pictures sent to me by intel agents of John McInsane in a town near Amman, Jordan in 2009, taking selfie pictures with his smirky face before he had his brain tumor, having pictures with ISIS that we gave satellite phones and weapon systems to. And then when we finally clear out Iraq and Syria, we took their leaders of these terrorist organizations to the chagrin and the shock of our troops. Instead of killing the buggers, we're actually flying them out to safety. People don't know this is going right under Trump's nose, and Trump is ignorant to the fact that Turkey is now threatening, if we don't get our way, we're going to dump in millions of North Africans and Middle Easterners to flood Europe with millions of refugees to completely destroy these nations. And we have collaboration of morons like the current Chancellor of Germany, Engel. Yeah. Okay? People don't understand what the heck's going on here. Remember, the trans-European superstate was created after World War II. And it's been planned since the 2 hiatuses, World War I and II, which just are basically a one war, was designed, including the support for Adolf Hitler, to create the superstate Europe. It was all by design, wasn't it?
Yes. In fact, during World War II in Nazi Germany, they held a conference in Berlin regarding a united Europe.
Right. And by the way, we did not win World War II. People don't get that. There's an alternative show on Prime Time, on Amazon Prime, and it shows the Nazi symbols and so on. People don't understand that our space program and our intel agencies that were transferred after World War II to the United States that formed Unitas for the OSS that became the CIA and the NSA and the SAD, Special Activity Division of the CIA, that were born after World War II, were all Nazi, and they're all Thule, Thule, occultists, and they actually formulated and finalized with George Bush Sr., right? Okay?
Yes.
Otherwise known as Scherf is his real name, right? I got to remember there's a connection with Scherf and Tesla. People have to understand that this was all done by design, and in fact, the Nazis did not lose the war. Their intel agencies not only formed the Unitas for a space program, but Project Omega, conceived by the Nazis and the Thule Society, was completed by George Bush Sr. in 1982. People don't know this stuff, do they?
No, they don't.
They didn't lose the war. They won the world. People don't know that, do they?
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Yeah. People are delusional. A lot of Germans died because they were at the lower level, just like lower level Masons. We call porch Masons. They were cannon fodder for the game. Because remember, and I have intel information that the factories making weapons and so on in Nazi Germany, including the concentration camps, we were told, British and Canadian pilots, you're not allowed to bomb these because, the Krupp Steel, for example, was making artillery shells and weapons for the British, and it was paid for by British gold bullion from the Queen and the Rothschilds to buy weapons to kill Germans. They were dropped over places like, what was that big city in Germany where there were no weapons or military bases, and they killed 500,000 Germans?
Dresden?
What's that, Dresden?
Dresden, yes.
The reason why Dresden was done is because they were actually in total revolt against the Vatican and against they were fully informed about what the whole scheme behind the destruction of Germany was tied into the globalists and to Britain and the United States. This is all a game. Even the funding of Adolf Hitler was George Bush Sr.'s father, and he even got a minor fine of a few $1 million for funding the Nazis. We made sure he had the money to actually prosecute a war. This is all by design. This is why we even gave our enemies potential nuclear and other weapons and even targeting technology in the late 90s under Bill Clinton was given to the Communist Chinese and the Russians to make sure they could actually target our cities rather than having weapons that have to be 50 to 100 miles off target because they didn't have space-based targeting technology, which we gave them.
Yeah.
People don't know this, do they?
No. No, they don't.
People are knuckleheads. An average person, when I tell people, I say, well, you think you know everything, Deagle. If they say, I don't know everything. I got a bunch of 3x5 cards. Some of them are pretty big cards. Maybe they're 5x10 feet. But you have to understand, if I'm talking about something, it's not a theory. It's a fact. It's an ugly fact. And even under Trump, he's waltzing us toward destruction, isn't he? Because he's got bad information, he's got bad advisors, and he's got an intellectual problem where he's a narcissist. And his Masonic name is Apollyon Rising. You know what that means?
No,
He's trying to refound and to recolonize and to terraform Mars and the Space Force he's building, which is space-based weapon systems up there, and the Space Force, which is the interplanetary space fleet that's been flying for decades down to Mars and been in our colony since 1982. He's actually thinks he's the prophesied one to re-terraform and bring back Mars. And Apollo, of course, was the god of Mars that was destroyed in the ancient galactic war. Every phallic symbol before the Vatican and the White House is the erect penis of Apollo. People don't know this, do they?
No, they don't.
They don't know anything. They will if they listen to this show. They won't be ignorant any longer.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations for referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing Nutri-Complete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamin minerals. Stay well with NutriMedical every day.
Probably Cicero.
Cicero, that's it. Welcome back. So in this segment, I want to hear from John W. I'm going to get a connection. So one way or the other, you're going to have a secure audio connection, video connection. We need to put Donald Trump in what's called John W. Spring School of common sense and decent intel agency. And again, we call you an intel teacher or analyst. And, if Donald Trump doesn't get upgraded to his knowledge base, he's going to cause a lot of destruction, isn't he? He's going to lead a lot of people who think he's going to save us over the cliff into destruction, isn't he?
It is. It's very much of a deception. And yet, for our nation's leaders to have these beliefs, it's so shocking and appalling that he would make statements about Erdogan being so kind to Kurds, when in reality he's extinguishing them in such large numbers.
Well, you know what happens? I know a lot of people want to support Trump because, you see, what they've done in America is they do a thing called balkanization and tribalization. And this is probably part of the reason why people like Jehovah's Witnesses don't want you to vote for either party, because they realize politics is like many bloodsuckers, is always deceiving us. They're always pushing us to tribalize into one tribe or another. And then we have to agree, like the Delphi technique, to whatever the tribe believes, so we have to be tribalized to believe and follow the master, even if it's Donald Trump, because he's, a good game show host, he's a good negotiator, he's making the stock market do better, he's negotiating with Russia and China. Yeah, those are all good things. But the man is still delusional, and he's bringing us over the edge of the cliff with 5G network, genetically modified food, fracking that can cause earthquakes. And now he's giving compliments to Erdogan, who's a maniac. This is not good. It also puts Israel in danger, and Israel, if they're pushed over the edge, they're going to go crazy, and they're going to nuke the hell out of the Bashar reactor in western Iran, and he guaranteed that Russia will retaliate and strike not only inside Israel. Israel will retaliate and annihilate Russia, every Muslim town and city of over 10,000 within 10,000 miles, and Russia will nuke us with the very least nuclear attacks in airspace over our nation to cause an EMP attack, or strike our military bases and our population centers, so 100 million Americans will die in a couple hours. People don't get this. They don't realize that, the biopreparate weapons program, and I'm a weaponeer, by the way, a bioweaponeer, was a couple, 150 kilometers north of Moscow. Those weapons were all handed over after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1989 to Iran and Syria. And these people aren't stupid people, man. If you back them into a corner, they're going to do stuff even if it's suicidal. It's very dangerous for the entire planet. People don't know this, do they?
No, they don't.
And the average person that's going to the store or going to celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas, is going on vacation, going for a week or two in their spa or whatever, they don't understand that our world leaders, even like Donald Trump, he's literally smirking and smiling in this insomniac self, sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night sleep, and drinking too much Diet Coke. At the same time, he's got bad advisors like, Tillerson and Kelly, who will probably shield him from getting information from you and me for the last 2+ years. And if we could just get through to the man for 20 minutes, he might be like, oh, you mean you people aren't blithering idiots out there in the public and we just want your vote? Because that's the impression I always get. I get so many requests every day in either text messages or emails. Well, you're a Republican supporter. We want your money. They just want my money so they can do advertise to other people that they need to vote Trump. They don't want to hear what the hell I say, but if Trump doesn't listen, man, it's really going to be destructive. And we need to get you in front of him, especially because Trump doesn't get it, does he? His actions with the Kurds display a man who's delusional, right?
Yes. Right now, his level of knowledge of the world is at the preschool or kindergarten level. I don't think
I wouldn't even put it there. You know what I call it? I use the joke, and I'm being sarcastic, SOB. I call it the lower than pet rock level. I call him, he's a brainiac with a minus IQ of 300. It's an oh my God time. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how can you make these kind of comments when you actually look at the current history of what Erdogan's doing and the Turks? Look what he's doing in his own nation. Do people know what the hell he's doing in Turkey and how he's even threatening to let millions of North Africans and Middle Easterns kind of flood Europe?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, really. And persecution of Christians inside Turkey. I mean, this guy's an extreme maniac, okay? People don't understand that. When he's trying to kill the Kurds, you have to understand who the Kurds are. And, they're basically the Medo-Persians. The Medes were actually the people who intermarried with the Kohanim and the Ephraimites. They were the Magi that or astrologers gave the gifts to Jesus because they knew he was coming to be the incarnation of God in the flesh. It was the Kurds who gave the gifts, my ancestors from Medo-Persia, from Isfahan, that gave the gifts to Jesus because he knew it was God in the flesh. All right? People need to know that. Part of the reason why they're putting Biden, not only when they put the Kurds in danger, they're putting Israel in danger. Israel now has got these guys in their back doorstep. If they decide that Damascus gets in it and there's a big nuclear war, they're only 10 miles from the northeast border of Israel. This is not funny, is it?
No, it isn't. It's a very serious situation. And Egyptian news is even alleging that Turkey is supplying weapons to Nigeria's Boko Haram. Boko Haram.
Oh, really? I didn't know that, but I wouldn't be surprised. You see, Turkey not only has licenses for weapons that they can manufacture from us, they're giving them to these other Muslim nations to Islamify them. And remember the Mahdi, this guy Adnan Oktar. There's another guy that's up in affiliated with Rouhani, but he's not really a big media guy. This guy Adnan Oktar is dangerous. You can just kind of search it yourself and Google it. Well, I don't believe you, Deagle. Don't. For God's sake, don't believe me. Just put his name, Adnan, A-D-N-A-N, Oktar, O-K-T-A-R. Look at this guy. This guy is like a movie star. He displays himself with women dancing around him in Armani suits when he's doing his prophecies on Turkish television. Do people get that this guy is not a friggin' idiot? He's a media genius and he's a devil? They don't understand that, do they?
No, they don't at all.
No. And the average person, you see, doesn't have the common sense, decency, or even self-protection to realize that when we're kissing the butt of people like Xi in China, in North Korea, and China, and Kim, who is supposed to meet again here shortly, and Erdogan, who's meeting today, this is dangerous. You know, I believe you can actually meet with every world leader, but you got to call it the way it is. You got to stop trying to kiss butt, right?
Yeah.
And I don't believe in negotiation. You know what? I believe in action. I'm a Joshua Christian. I believe you take action here, and I gave a list in this video I did, which is the weekend. So if you look at that video, it tells you exactly what Trump should freaking do. He should cut off the banks for all of the oligarchs in Russia and China. He should blockade oil from Venezuela to Cuba, and the oil from Iran to the oil markets, and to Russia, by the way. He should freeze the bank accounts of Putin and all his oligarchs, and he should actually send a Delta Force and clean up these nuclear devices in the Orinoco River, La Orchila Island, and Punta Huerte, and also in Iran. And we should use space-based weapons if we want to take out the manufacturing facilities for carfentanil, and make them understand that we're going to close not only their bank accounts, we're going to stop any international flights or travel of any of these individuals because we have them on our radar that are these billionaires that are doing corrupt things to harm us. And by the way, that should include politicians inside our own country. We need to pass a law so that nobody can be inside a government department and then start acting as a proxy for industry so they can sell us out. They call it the musical chairs between industry and government operations. That needs to end. We need to stop public money where billions of dollars can be guys like this guy Bloomberg can buy their way into an office so they can run for the presidency. It's disgusting. There's a whole lot of simple rules that can be put in place, eliminated by executive order, to put a stop to a lot of crap. But Trump doesn't either have the brains or the guts to do it, does he?
Apparently not.
And if he doesn't do it, by the way, whether he even gets reelected, which he may well be, the American destruction might occur in 2024, 2030, 28, or 32. But it's sealing the fate, because one thing you can say about Trump that's good is the man's gutsy, even if he's stupid. He's smart about things like the stock market negotiations, but he's stupid in terms of anticipating how bad his enemy is and how you have to take care of them. You don't negotiate with the devil. You give him action. He's like an animal in a cage, and you shock him with a great big long electrical pole. And then you know what anticipated move the bugger's going to make, and you actually plan to have a response to that stupid move. Trump needs to stop negotiating and start taking action, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. But he needs to take the right kind of action.
Right. It has to be surgical. It has to be 3 or 4 steps ahead of the maniacs on the other side. It has to be in such a way that they can't anticipate what we're going to do next to them. And it shouldn't be tweeted out, though, so they can figure out what the hell he's going to do next, or discuss in news media like, I can't believe that he had to open up all these letters of the discussions between him and Zelensky, the current new actor, comedian, that's the director of Ukraine, after we put in the Poroshenko, which is, by the way, a drug, prostitution, and so-called chocolate king, put in by the State Department by the help, and actually she was boasting, the one that was running the State Department was boasting how they helped Poroshenko, who was basically helping out the Ukrainian Nazis that were nastier in World War II than even the Austrian and German Nazis at killing people, including their own people. Yeah. People don't get this, so that our State Department is promulgating evil, and then these two morons tried to say because Trump's not doing our will, he's a bad guy. I'm thinking, you're supposed to carry out the will of the president. Who the hell do you think you are? Kent and Taylor. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is, Dr. Deagle. And unfortunately, unless they're going to invite us to the White House, Dr. Bill, I see very little hope. As much as I would prefer to have President Trump over any of the other presidential hopefuls in the Democratic Party, because I know, for example, if any one of the Democratic presidential candidates should win, guns are going to be confiscated. Taxation is going to go up.
I'll tell you, no. Let me tell you what'll happen. It won't be gun confiscation. This is not going to happen. But it will be shutting off of the availability to get ammo. It's not a gun confiscation. It's an ammo confiscation. Okay. I have friends. Okay, I remember back in Eastern Canada. This is 26, 27 years ago. And one of my patients asked me to go hunting with him, so I did. And I said, how many guns do you got? Oh, I got about a dozen or so. I said, well, how many of your friends have? Oh, more than that, 25, 30. So what did you do last weekend? Oh, we made bullets. I said, what do you mean? We went down to a New England gun show and we bought a bullet making machine. I said, oh, that's good. How many bullets did you make? 90,000 bullets. They had all the material. They built and made their own bullets. The average American, even with a lot of guns, only has enough for bullets for hunting for a few weeks or weekends. They don't have any bullets or ammo for a prolonged battle with a globalist New World Order. Their guns are going to be very fancy-looking paperweights if they don't have enough ammo. And they don't have scalar or other weapons, which, by the way, I'm going to arm people with technology they can build in the weekend with things they can order online or they can simply get it at the local hardware store. That's not guns. That's either non-lethal or lethal as hell. That you won't see a pop or a weapon or a missile coming at you, but it's going to be able to, number one, neutralize the enemy or your potential one attacking you, or kill a hell of a lot faster in a greater distance than a bullet. Okay, people need to understand that we were not dealing with gun confiscation, we were dealing with ammo shut off. And we see the first signs of it in New York State, right? People don't get this. In fact, something all has to do is just have the credit card company say, look, we're not going to allow you to buy ammo anymore. Or New York State, or Walmart saying, we're not going to sell ammo to people anymore. That's all you need. You don't need to have gun confiscation. Any red flag laws, they can say if you put something in social media, they're just going to come to your home and not only seize your guns, they can put your butt in a civil detention camp. They got enough civil detention camps for 13 million Americans now. And if you're in, red, green, or blue district, if you're red, you're dead. They're going to execute you. When the order comes down, they're going to disembowel you and remove your head and hang you up on a wire. If you don't believe me, you're an idiot. You're going to die hard like the movie. No, we're not going to have gun confiscation. That'll never happen. We're going to have ammo secession. How's that? Does that make sense? Nasty. And guess what? Trump's not doing anything about it, is he? Nothing. He would if he listened to you or me, wouldn't he? I'm going to get you in front of him, John. I am trying so hard. I will get you in front of him one way or the damned other. All right? He's going to hear you.